I feel the spirit of Steve Biko in my veins, the spirit of Chrisani in my veins. So that's what made me now to wear a different title, where I can say now I'm a revolutionalist. I'm here now for transformation, total full transformation, without fear and favor, without being bought or captured by anyone. I'm organic as I am. I come as thin as I am, and ready to bring transformation and ready to change the state of mind of our Black people and our Black brothers all over South Africa, Africa, and diaspora.
They need their freedom. They want to be free. They want to live a free life.
If it doesn't touch your conscience, bother me your conscience. I want to bury it inside here.
Yes. Motivo Kenta a parlé. Sankara a parlé. Goïta est en train de parler.
All the people that you see here are students. But the most important thing is that they don't know what to expect in the future. But the French kids who are going to school just like you, they know already when they finish the school, they have a job, they have a house, they have a
Abba.
America!
Abba.
France!
Abba.
England!
Abba.
Arab!
Abba.
Everyone!
Abba.
Africa will stand together!
Commando. Mas Gumfu. Commando. Alananki. Oh, Mwasu.
Peace and love, freedom and decolonization to all African people, those at home, those abroad, and those in the future. As always, we say that if you have two shoes, please sell one and buy a sword, because now it is time for revolution. And this revolution is no longer on the streets. This revolution is just no longer about burning cars, but this revolution is firstly in the mind. It's about building our own cars, selling them to make our own money. We thank you for your time and your commitment to this channel and to this rendezvous where we talk about African affairs, where we talk about our affairs. And today we have a very special edition where we talk about King Bongani from the soil of Africa. And we'll get into that. You will get to know exactly what soil of Africa and what is who is Mr. Bongani and what he is planning to do and all those things we get to know to get there. But we want you to stick right there. It's very, very interesting. We are in Johannesburg today. We're talking about South Africa, but not just South Africa. We're talking about Africa because South Africa means the Africa of the South, right? So we are talking about Africa actually. So it's going to be a very, very exciting topic today and discussion. So let me turn quickly to Mr. Bongani. Greetings to you, King. How are you doing?
Thank you very much, my brother. Greetings to the viewers at home. I hope I'm very well. And how are you doing?
I'm well, thank you. Personally, I know you as an activist, as a politician, as a revolutionary Pan-Africanist as well. I want you to aid because that is what I know about you. Some months ago, actually, a year ago, since last we met and we discussed. So as we know, we are all in that process of evolving ourselves, of transforming ourselves. When we are faced with different challenges, when we are faced with different circumstances, we get transformed, we get renewed, we get changed. So I don't know what is a new title or a new qualification or a new emblem that you have added to your name right now, on top of what I've said, a Pan-Africanist, an activist, a revolutionary. What else can people know you about?
Okay, no, thank you once again, my friend, for this invitation. Highly honored, I enjoy having a chat with you because you touch the nerves and you are more concerned about the Black consciousness and how we should transform our thinking and our mental state of mind. I can tell you that I've been in a process of transition in my life. Passionate about the change in Black consciousness why our people are not seeing each other as human beings, and there's no Ubuntu amongst our black people, There's no love amongst our black brothers and sisters, and it's always been an agony in my heart, a cry for help. And in that period of transition, I've learned a lot of things. I've learned to tap into politics. What is politics? And I had to redefine politics myself because the politics that I've entered in, the space that I was in, I realized that it's all under the system of colonization, rather. It's under the system of capitalist because even in the politics space, democracy was not designed for the black people, was not designed for us to thrive, and own the economic freedom and also have a means of production in our life. Democracy, I could say that it will never ever work for us up until we redefine it. So that transition has taught me a lot about democracy, it's taught me a lot about politics, and it's taught me a lot about the organic and authentic meaning of revolution. Because we always talk about revolution as if it's a popcorn, making or a revolution is not that. Revolution it requires mental state, it requires love, it requires passion and zeal. Revolution requires to be able to own the means of production and have a solution. How should we own the means of production? A revolution means that we should not be captured, we should not be bored. And if you look at the space of politics that we're in our country, South Africa, and Africa as a whole, we don't have the undying spirit of Sankara in each and every one of us who are passionate about leading, having the burn and the zeal to transform our South African country and Africa and diaspora as a whole. We don't have an undying spirit of Steve Biko, Krisani, Solomon Mahlangu. We can mention them. We don't have them. But the good part is that we see the undying spirit of Sankara through Ibrahim Traore and say, I feel the spirit of Steve Biko in my veins, the spirit of Krisani in my veins. So that's what made me now to wear a different title, where I can say now I'm a revolutionalist. I'm here now for transformation, total full transformation, without fear and favor, without being bored or captured by anyone. I'm organic as I am. I come as thin as I am, and ready to bring transformation and ready to change the state of mind of our black people and our black brothers all over South Africa, Africa, and diaspora. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's great. So before we get to the event that I saw recently, where you went to do a demonstration to the Department of Home Affairs in South Africa, I would like you to just educate us a little bit on the soil of Africa. What is the soil of Africa? What is the meaning? What is the purpose? And most importantly, what is the vision?
Soul of Africa, it's a civic, it's an advocacy movement. I normally use the word civic so that it can be able to resonate and people to be able to relate to it. But in all honesty, it's not a civic movement. It's an advocacy movement. It's a revolutionary movement. We are more black conscious than anything. We are more about freedom that is not on the location that we found ourselves in. Freedom is a mental state that we're struggling to get. Soul of Africa is about speaking and advocating on behalf of the marginalized, which are the black people, black communities. We're talking about the voiceless people. We want to restore the dignity of black people, bring equality in Africa. I don't want to put more about Pan-Africanism, but more about trading amongst ourselves as African. Start realizing the minerals that we have and that must come back into our capable hands. And as well as using materials that comes from our country to develop our own cars, to develop our own phones, rather, to develop our own equipments, to develop our own teaspoons, develop anything that it can be tangible and it can bring change and it can create job opportunities. So South Africa has manifested itself as a vehicle of global transformation. It's a vehicle that is going to change the life of the coming youth, the lives of the era that we're in. So South Africa, it's more about that. We are very radical, we are militant, we are revolutionist, we are transformers. Our heart and passion and zeal is more of the mental transformation and as well physical transformation. We are ready. We are militant. We are ready to fight mentally and as well to fight physically, because we understand that revolution does not only, in fact, revolution does not have a formula. You can never bring formula on revolution that this is how it must be done. Revolution manifests itself according to the environment, according to the atmosphere, according to the situation that is at hand currently. So we don't know the current situation that we're in, but one thing I can tell you is that the situation that we're in, it needs leaders that will stand, and leaders that will not be bought and captured, leaders that will be able to say we are dying for our people, because all the fallen heroes died for our people. Those who are left, they are not heroes. They are just politicians just to fill their pockets and be selfless. South Africa, it's about changing lives. It's about individuals starting to realize how great they are, the potential that they have. How can they change their country? What kind of a system can we develop that will bring equality, and also making sure that other races understand reconciliation, because reconciliation cannot be preached by those who were suppressed and oppressed. Reconciliation must be preached by those who participated in oppressing the other races. So we are simply saying that reconciliation must be what will bring us together as one. So soil of Africa means that we are born from the soil that comes in Africa, the same soil that has hidden the minerals of South Africa. We're talking about the likes of diamond, platinum, gold, and all those sort of minerals, oil. So our body has been made and formed by the soil that comes from South Africa. So basically, the word soil of Africa, it means that we come and we are equal and equivalent to the minerals of South Africa. So we are the ones that have hidden them. We are the ones that have produced those minerals by our body. So our body is made out of those gold and diamonds. So we need to start changing our thinking, change our mind, and remind ourselves that we are equivalent to the mineral that the colonization or the colonialists, they came for it. They came for that mineral. So it means they came to remove us who were hiding the minerals as the soil, and they steal from us. So we as the soil must come and protect the minerals again. So meaning our body and our soul must be the one that is protecting the minerals of Mother Africa in Africa. Thank you very much.
That's powerful. I mean, as you are explaining, there's a word that comes to my mind that states as God created human beings from the ground, from the soil. So, which implies that all the resources, diamonds, gold, and everything that we see or we can find, under the ground can be also found inside us because we have been taken from the ground. So, which means as well that if the colonizer comes and begin to exploit our land, he actually exploit us, indirectly. He exploit our body because we and the land, we are one thing. So that's very powerful. But let me say this. You said the soil of Africa is an advocacy movement. And we have had so
Sure.
many advocacy movements. We have had some political parties that even work just to advocate certain change. And we have had civil societies that work on advocating some needed change in the society. What is, in few words, what is the difference between Soil of Africa as an advocacy movement with all the myriads of movements that we have in South Africa as we're speaking right now that deal with the same issue of advocating the change that people want?
Uh, Firstly, one thing I can tell you, my brother, is that what is important more than anything is intention. What is your intention? Many where I go, people ask, who's funding you? Everywhere I go, they ask, Who are you aligning with? And when they go and investigate, they find that I report on no man. I'm not scared of any man. I fear no man, and I'm not reporting to anyone. We're not funded by anyone, but we're funded by God Himself, because we find ourselves having resources, to help people. Just to get a bit out, out of record, there was a child who died on a shack for 6 months, was in a forensic mortuary. The mother was waiting for the DNA test of the child. They contacted us. We came in to assist. And one of that child was from Lesotho, by the way, not from South Africa. The child was from Lesotho, so hence it was not easy for for the mother to get the DNA. We went and we fought with the forensic. They gave us the DNA test. We went and fought with the embassy of Lesotho. They gave us a letter to bury a child. Guess what? No municipality, no government, no one came in and assisted. Soil of Africa had to make a plan how we're going to bury the child. And we gave a dignified funeral out of our own pocket, not captured. The motive of the heart is what is important. The black consciousness, it starts within you, and your character must speak. What kind of a leader are you? What kind of a civic organization or what kind of an advocacy movement is this one? South Africa is a reputable organization. It always, whatever it starts, it finishes. There is no project. If you look at some of them, they are fighting the unity of Africa. They're trying by all means to make our people to fight amongst themselves, to make our people and African people not to unite and come up with a better way of coming together and uniting. So if you start seeing that, you realize that there's a problem. So we are uniting for Africa. We are uniting for trading amongst ourselves as South Africans. And also we are uniting for the laws. We are uniting for principles. We are uniting for Ubuntu. That's the different soil of Africa.
That's good. Let me shift gear here for instance. One of the shortcomings that we have seen throughout history with advocacy movement is that they do advocate for change or for certain things to be done, and then they leave the implementation of that change in the hands of the very same people who never wanted the change to take place. And this has been the downfall of many advocacy movements. You will come and say that we need good salary. Okay, that's fine. And the system says, okay, we'll give good salary to the people. And then you say, okay, good, we've got a victory here. Good salary, we've obtained it. We asked for it and it has been given. And 2 years after, the system reversed the salary, brings people to the square one where the money or the salary was not decent enough to provide people, with the necessity of living. And this has been the challenge with advocacy movement. Whether you look in America, in Africa, the same thing. You mark some changes today, after 2 years, those changes get reversed, and the people find themselves in the very same situation. So how do you, as soil of Africa, how do you want to position yourself within this paradigm to make sure that the gains that you are getting today will never be undermined by the system and will be progressively or will be sustainable, and you will be building on that to get more change that will affect the condition of the South African population?
No, firstly, we as Soul of Africa, the first thing that we want to fight is the system. Because the system is the one that is failing our people. So what we're more interested is that the system must be fashionable for our Black people and equality. So I'm saying that firstly, people that the civic movement, they lack something called consistency. Consistency, it needs patience and time. You must always revisit all the victories that you came across. Revisit them, For argument's sake, after we've buried the child in 6 months, we're still checking up on the family, what is their need, how are things moving. And almost all our victories, we revisit them. because a victory does not mean you conquer, you leave. You cannot conquer the system. Hence, we revisit, and this must be consistent. Why I'm saying that? Because the issue is not what you won. The issue is the system. Is the system fashionable for Black people? Is the system designed, was it made in a way that it was not going to kick you back or reject you? You might win today, but tomorrow the system will always recognize that this is a Black person, it kicks you out again and reject you. So to have a permanent victory is to fight the system. The government system is failing us, as you alluded when you spoke about the IDs. We've got more than 75,000 people across South Africa who have the issue of blocked IDs, which is a systematic issue. And that is the issue of the government, by the way. And when you look at Home Affairs should be the system that is protecting the identity of our people. It should be a system that is protecting your citizenship, But if it's been if you tamper with it, rather, you're tampering with the life and the dignity and the identity of a human being. But if you look at that system, out of 75,000, the state says 1 million, but on our hand, we're standing on 75,000 people who have blocked IDs. Can tell you, 99.9% are Black race. There's no white person there. There's no Indian. There's no Chinese. But whoever, any race that you can think of, it's only Black race. The question is, why will the system block only a Black person?
Mm-hmm.
And these people now, if you look at the reason why they've blocked their IDs, the officials, the spokesperson of the Department of Home Affairs, they will say that they suspect that they're immigrants. People that you must suspect, it's the white race and Chinese and Indians, because majority are not from South Africa. The system should be able to detect that, and the system should not detect a person, suspect a person that is an immigrant, is a foreigner, without investigation, without the diligent process, without engaging the person, without getting the relevant document for the system to conclude if a person indeed is a foreigner. And the same system should be linked with the IEC system, because these are people that are voters. Since 1994, as early as 1994, they voted, for the first Black president in our country. They've been participating in voting. Even last year, for the leading GNU, they were voted by the same people that the system has rejected them. And these are people that the system has rejected them for 18 years, since 2007. And they went to court in 2019, and the court ruled that they should unblock their IDs to show you that the system is corrupt and we must deal with the system decisively. After the court has ruled, the system now behaves as if it's above the law. It doesn't change, doesn't unblock. You understand? Since the ruling till this day, they did not unblock them. So it means the system doesn't favor, neither it doesn't see a Black person as a human being. So you see how it was designed. And obviously it's designed by a person. So it's designed by the ideology and the philosophy of Black people being slaves and being properties and creatures. Because if it was designed in a way that it's able to dictate whether a person is a foreigner or not, the system was going to go through a process. So there was no process and fundings against those people. So it means that 75,000 people that IDs are blocked, they are not citizenship into any country. It means they are floating on air, they are omnipresent, they are Holy Spirits, because they don't have a physical place where they can rest. So these people don't belong anywhere. They don't belong from Ghana, Congo, South Africa, Nigeria, because they don't have any citizenship in any country whatsoever. So even when they passed away, their wives and husbands can't bury them. You have to bury them, they have to give them a death certificate that you write with your own hand. That does not come from the system. Their kids can't go further their studies if they finish their grade 12. They can't become doctors. They can't do anything. Why? Because the system of university, it needs an identity. These kids don't have an identity. It means they don't exist in our country. They don't exist in any country, by the way. You can never find them anywhere. They don't exist at all. It means if that person can take a gun and shoot the next person, even when you put the fingerprints, it's not going to appear because the ADs are blocked. So now we have a risk of now having those young ones who will become anarchists because they don't have the fingerprints in their hands. The system doesn't identify them. We're going to have such kids who are going to be criminals, who are going to be hijackers, who are going to be killing people because they could not further their studies. The only thing that they can do as those kids is just to become people in jail. They are nothing, they're nobody, they don't exist, they don't even have. So basically, I'm saying these kids are going to turn up into becoming criminals, because they can't further their studies, they can't be creative, they can't run their businesses, they can't open a business because they don't have an identity. So the only thing they will opt for is crime. It means the crime rate is going to go high, sky high. I mean, look at 75,000 families. How many kids do they have per household? We're looking at more than 200,000 to almost 300,000 youth that are going to be unemployed. So what's going to happen? You are breathing anarchists, criminals, So that's what is going to happen. So we're going to have a lawless country because how will you identify those kids? And the problem is not going to be them, it's the system that has failed them. So that system I'm talking about, it's what we want to collapse. We want to redefine it and we want it to be put in a way that it will favor any race and it will bring equality in each and every one of us. In closure, we are not going to be any political party, but I can tell you, we're going to be very influential in the decision of the constitution of our country, in the decision of policy making. Why? Because the number of people that are growing in soil of Africa, we're telling them that we are not going to vote up until the system favors us. We are going to put in our own constitution. We're going to put in our policies. So that's where we are driven. That is our secret. That we only vote when we agree on the constitution that is fashionable for the people. That is a law driven and firm constitution that is also going to allow the kids to be able to be disciplined, the kids to be trained to be a militant, because our kids, even in the educational system, they're killing one another, they carry guns, they carry knives, educators can't even correct them, they can't even discipline them, because if you discipline them, they threaten you or they fight the educators. And it only happens in black township schools, public schools. Doesn't happen in white schools. So what does it say to you? The issue is, let us deal with the black person. Come 20 years from now on, we're not going to have any black leader. We're going to have anarchists in our black township. Why? Because we are nothing but hating each other, and the system has failed us. Now we're giving up. People are giving up on politics. People are giving up on civic movement. People are giving up. They don't have hope anymore. So who's going to bring hope? The only hope that they're going to come and trust is anarchy, and which that's not what we want. You understand? South Africa is born to deal with that issue of anarchy and to deal with the issue of unemployment. Because now in our country, South Africa, we're moving at 62.7% of unemployment youth rate. Just imagine. We as South Africa currently, we've got 1,800 youth program, skills development program that is training the mind of these kids, train them entrepreneurship, train them business management, train them how to use their hands to enhance their skills, to produce their own. We want to see our own parts that are going to supply Ford and BMW. Our kids must be the ones who's going to do those parts. If they don't know, if Ford is not going to allow us to supply them, allow black people to supply them with parts, they can take their company and leave the country. We don't care about that. We rather suffer for another 20 years while we're building our own cars. Does not mean we're not intelligent. It does not mean across Africa we don't have cars that we can get and get other African countries to supply us. We are ready for that. That is a revolution that we're talking about. So it's a system that will not allow a black child to do his own car, his own cell phone, because they are gatekeepers. So we want to deal with the system. We say we're not going to vote up until we are able to supply our own equipment. We are able to supply our own parts to Ford Motor Company, to BMW. We are able to do our own phones, supply iPhone, and say now we're going to have an iPhone that comes from South Africa or that comes from Africa. So you can call it iPhone South Africa, iPhone Africa, iPhone something, but it has to come and be made and designed in our country by our youth. That's what Soul of Africa is fighting for. Thank you.
Beautiful. On the issue of unemployment and economic development of South Africa, we know that the EFF has been working on that for a while. How do you position yourself as a Soul of Africa with regard to the struggle that EFF has been doing for, I think, for 10 years now?
I could say that EFF has done quite well for that period of 10 years. What they missed is that they forgot that when you are under democracy as a political party, you are bound by the system. So your voice will always be an echo. It's going to be an echo, but without any transformation. Why? Because yourself, you are under the system that we are fighting, basically. And you can't fight the system because the same system is paying you. The same system is allowing you to be in parliament. The same system is allowing you to debate. But your debate will always be in vain because there should be someone who's going to vote and you are minority in parliament. So meaning your voice will never be heard. Yes, it will hear you, but it will not bring an immediate change. Why? Because you are minority in that same governing system. Now, we as a civic movement, we're saying that we are going to the ground root, where now we are going to force the number of interested middle classes who've got skills, who can give back to the community and come together and skill our kids, right? Skill. Some have got degrees, diplomas, masters, honors, and PhD. You can think of, they've got all those degrees, but at the end of the day, the system is not allowing them to work because there's no unemployment. The government itself cannot produce work. The only work that the government can give is EPWP, taba, when you have to go pick recycling and and all those things, waste, that is what they can give you. They can't give you any proper job. You cannot be an artisan and so on. So what I'm saying is that we are South of Africa now. We are assisting basically what EFF is fighting for, but we are fighting outside the system because nothing is governing us. Oh, the only thing that is governing us is principle. The only thing that is governing us is morals. The only thing that is governing us is to love one another and unity, but not the system that is failing a black person. So we are therefore saying that we want to see our black people owning their own shop rights, not naming it shop right, but naming it with another name, owning our own Pick and Pay, owning our own cars, making sure that these kids are the ones who are reproducing. Do you know that in our country, we have a lot of products, but they are made outside. But the raw materials come from our country, including minerals. The gold comes out here raw. It goes outside. When it comes back as a ring. It comes back as a something else. So we're simply saying that we want that raw gold here. We want to produce it ourselves, and then sell it outside and trade amongst other African countries and other continent. That's what we are saying. I'll make you a last example. There's people called Zamazamas. We've made them to look like they are wrong people. You know why? Because they are going down to get the diamond and gold illegally. You know why it's illegal? Because the system says that they cannot. They are a group of people or group of companies, the minority, that only has this access and the certificate to go mine. The Zamazamas, they're able to stay there for a very long time and mine and come up with diamond and gold. What does it say to you? Can't you give those people the license and say, don't mine illegally? You are brilliant. You've got talent and skills. Therefore, we're giving you an opportunity to mine and have your own license now, and now train other youth to go underground and be able to mine for themselves as well. Open a factory where now we can buy from you because we are realizing that you are brilliant. You are able to mine yourself. Now we call them zamazamas. We're making them as if now they're illegal. It's very wrong. It's very wrong because it's based on the system that is saying it's wrong. But if they're given a license, will they be wrong? Will they be illegal? No. They're illegal because the system is saying so. The same thing that they're doing, a white person is doing it somewhere in a mine. To him, it's right. To the country, it's legal because he's been given a license. But the only the difference that the difference between the two is that one doesn't have a license, one has a license, but they've got the same skill, the same talent, the same strategy, the same mechanism. The difference is the license. You see where our problem is. Now we're going to say these people are illegal. That is why now we have a problem and say, Zamazamas, they're illegal. But in all honesty, legalize them with the license and see if they're illegal, yes or no. They're producing, they're taking out diamonds and gold. It means they know where diamonds is without detecting it with the technology, with just their mind. What does it say to you? They have got skills. Why can't you promote those people and give them the license?
Beautiful, beautiful. No, well said. We are almost under, I think, 1 minute and 30 seconds towards the end of the show. I would like you to have a closing remark with regard to maybe Africa. I think you said from the beginning, you spoke about Ibrahim Traore. Any closing remark that you want to say, whether related to South Africa or to the African continent as a whole? Go ahead, please.
Thank you very much. My closing remark is that my desire, more than anything, I want to have a solid, rather, I want to have a constructive meeting with Ibrahim Traore. I know he's a president in his own right. I'm also a president in my own right. And I think we believe in the same ideology and philosophy to bring Africa together. I want to have a meeting with him. I want to have a meeting with the president of Botswana, the president of Mali and Niger. I want to sit down with them, how best we can assist each other. Because I'm a president of the community of South Africa. I'm the president of the marginalized group of South Africa. I'm the president of the marginalized and voiceless group of people. So therefore, it means I'm the president of the country, not of the system of the country of South Africa. So therefore, it means I'm equivalent and equal to sit down with Ibrahim Traore to speak about how can we bring change and how can we collapse the system that is failing the marginalized group. The system does not allow us to trade among ourselves. My closing remark is that I'm calling for Ibrahim Traore. I'm calling for the president of Botswana and the rest of the president that believes in trading amongst ourselves and believes in ideology of Pan-Africanism. Thank you very much.
Brothers and sisters, that was Bongani, the president and the chairman of the Soil of Africa. Peace and love, freedom and decolonization to all African people.